Keeper of the light.
Dire team pick.
Welcome back, everyone, to the first day, and I'm very excited to finally say this, the first day of the Netolic Pro League Raid Call playoffs. Our sponsor is Raid Call. You can check out raidcall.com, channel 2013 for giveaways, prizes, discussion, all that good stuff. Anyway, East Division playoffs, losers bracket play begins today, the 10th of April, with this game. Invasion, they place second in Group A. Mineski, they place second in Group B. These two teams will play it off. Best of one. Loser goes home. Weaver comes out. My co-caster is El Presidente. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm El Presidente, and I'm quite tired.
I'm not too spry myself, but hopefully we can still put on a good cast of these people. So what do you think about this early Weaver pick?
Well, I think Weaver is actually fantastic here to go up against the Lifestealer, so I'm actually really glad that they picked up Weaver. But it's kind of hard to really fit Weaver. Actually, I saw support Weaver twice this week, so I'm still in shock.
5 seconds remaining.
He does put out a lot of damage, and no, I'm not muted, thank God.
Reserve time.
Oh wait, in-game Dota.
Ah,
yes, because I'm an awful
that,
person.
Man.
I know, man. I forget. I'm tired.
It's okay.
But the Weaver is actually a fantastic hero to go up against Lifestealer. Especially later on, Weaver has really two options for orbs that work very well. Scotty and Desolator, and both of them make Lifestealer's life a little bit more miserable.
Yep.
Just because you can't just rage off a Scotty slow or a Desolator armor reduction.
Sure can't.
It's also impossible for Lifestealer to really kill a Weaver by himself.
It's very
because
difficult.
he lacks any sort of lockdown, and his slow does not work when you can run at max speed.
Right. His slow does not override the Shikochi movement speed increase. Similar to the dynamic with Darkseer, except of course Darkseer Haste, at least at its early ranks, has a longer cooldown than Shikochi, so Shikochi helps even more for you to actually escape that open wound. So Weaver, yeah, definitely a cool pick. We'll have to see whether it's run. We've seen a lot of different Weavers run, so the three primary Weaver possibilities are side lane solo, so either safe lane solo or hard lane solo, the carry in a tri-lane, or, and we've seen this recently, the support in a tri-lane, although that's far more strange and exotic, so I don't think I would expect to necessarily see that. And we get the Sand King, so the C-Dodo special support hero. When he is able to land a big epicenter, it's an extremely huge deal and can totally turn a team fight around. And when he can't find the levels, he's just one of the least effective heroes in the game, really, so...
I think his win rate in this tournament is 0 right now.
Is that right?
I think that's right.
Ouch.
I'd have to double check because we have so many matches, and I started losing count because we didn't cast every game. But
we cast a lot of them.
yeah, but we didn't get everyone because games happen at the same time.
Yeah.
But that said, Sand King, I don't know. I personally think he's pretty underwhelming just because of the nature of Burrow Strike. It's a pretty awful level 1 ability with a range of 350. Yeah. And even at max level, the range isn't that good.
I don't think that it's that he's underwhelming necessarily. It's that he's very bad. I mean, very underwhelming levels like 1 through 4, basically. Like, level 5 is really when your Sand King starts being respectable, in my opinion.
That's absolutely the case, but you know the problem with running him as a support is that he doesn't bring and contribute much to the table at level 1, unlike some other supports in existence. And now that I didn't notice that Bane wasn't banned, I'm surprised that Invasion picked up Sand King over Bane against Lifestealer.
Yeah, definitely. I guess they feel that the Weaver Shadow Demon is... They don't want to over respond to the Lifestealer, because what a lot of teams will do is put out the lifestealer against you early, and then you overreact to it, and then pick up another core hero or a bigger core hero later. And then you end up with a team that deals with the lifestealer very effectively, but doesn't deal with the other later core hero at all.
This is an interesting anti-mage pickup. Anti-mage isn't really that good against lifestealer, mostly because his mana break, his feedback, doesn't work while lifestealer is raged. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't remove any mana, but it is... his magic resist will be good against Keeper of the Light, Queen of Pain, Bane, really, even. It'll be helpful against all that stuff.
The problem is I think Anti-Mage might even need to build a Lincoln Sphere this game, because if he gets locked down by Bane, he is going to get his face ripped off by Lifestealer.
Right. Maybe. I mean, we could see a Lincoln's. Certainly the Weaver, I think, is likely to build it, because Fiend's Grip would catch him out pretty bad, too. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if you move at maximum movement speed, if you're moving at 0 movement speed due to being CC'd for 5 seconds. I mean, Fiend's Grip actually, just because Weaver is so not tanky and relies upon being able to cast his, like, get-out-of-jail-free card with the time lapse, if he gets Fiend's Grip, he's dead more often than not. Even just the Bane can solo him half the time.
Yeah, the problem is that Weaver has no health, and not only does he have no health, he has, like, no armor or anything to go with it. He's literally kind of living on the edge with his time lapse.
Right. So you would say you would favor Mineski's lineup out of these drafts?
With the Puck pick, absolutely. Puck is definitely going to have a field day with Magnus and Sand King, as well as really favoring Pinoy's style of aggressive Dota. That's one of the things that we do see at Mineski. It's interesting that they are going for, quote, aggressive Dota when they pick a Cuddle as their first hero, because Cuddle is very much like Turtle Master Race, but...
Sure.
It's interesting. I'd favor Mineski going into this draft just because I do feel that they have a stronger overall lineup between Bane setting up the Lifestealer, Keeper of the Light keeping Lifestealer pretty much manned up at all times, Puck and Queen of Pain being very strong aggressive players, and it's pretty easy to tell what the lanes are going to be looking like. If you look at Mineski, they have their tri-lane with Keeper of the Light, Lifestealer, and Bane, and that's pretty dangerous because what will happen is Bane will start with a Nightmare that'll open up into a Illuminate, and then they're going to get slowed with an Open Wounds, and they're probably going to end up dying.
Sure.
Unless
so
it's
that's an aggressive tri-lane with a solo safe Queen of Pain, right?
That's the problem. Pinoy's, and this is where the mind games come in, we don't really know if they're going to run an offensive tri-lane and hope that they run into a defensive one, or run a defensive tri-lane hoping that Invasion, thinking that Mineski is running an offensive tri-lane, run an offensive tri-lane, and then this is where the mind game comes in. And the problem is, if Mineski can't get Weaver in that tri-lane against them, if Weaver is against them, they're not going to get those kills on them. So they won't be able to really do much to shut down Weaver, just because the Open Wounds doesn't do anything.
And here we go. It does look like Baby is going to move on to the bottom lane as this Weaver. I'll go ahead and introduce Invasion while I do this. So we're going to have Weaver up in the solo safe, Baby. Then in the middle, they're going to be running Dan on the Magnus. Hopefully he's feeling better. I know he was feeling a little bit sick. And then at the top lane, the tri-lane will be composed of Snow on the anti-mage, their usual carry player. And then Shen will be piloting up the Sand King, and Xiaobai on the... That is Xiaobai, right?
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's
on the Shadow
Xiaobai. For Mineski, we got Fat Dog playing that Keeper of the Light. We got HyperX. Oh, wait, no, that's not HyperX. That's the guy who doesn't have
Joven.
Joven, because Joven doesn't like putting his name in his little spaces. But anyways, Joven playing that off-lane Puck. And this is the whole Mind Games thing. 1v3. We're seeing Yanni on the Lifestealer and Zebedee taking the Bane. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Sure, why not?
Zebedee.
Let's go with ZBD, yeah.
Alright, ZBD.
So, these 3 vs 1 lanes are really interesting to me, actually. It's interesting that they chose to send the Puck solo, because I don't actually think Puck solo does that great against Weaver either in the 1v1 lane. Weaver can do quite a bit of harassment that Puck has difficulty avoiding.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. Puck does have some pretty solid range, though, 550. The Illusionary Orb is pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And are we gonna... Really?
He's copping so much damage early just from Sand King. This is what I was going to say. The thing about Sand King's low range is that when he's dual laning specifically with Shadow Demon, the Shadow Demon setup is so, like, gives you so much time, he won't get the mana to Burrow Strike again, unfortunately. But still, I mean, Joven copping so much damage in this lane.
I was about to say, I think Weaver should just come over here and kill him, but then I remembered it's Anti-Mage here. And I actually really like this whole Anti-Mage Shadow Demon combo, and I'll probably make some 5 AM puns later.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I
Well,
did
it's
wake up at
almost 5 AM,
actually.
so it's almost 5 AM for me, so that it's very apt.
Good, good. This is the perfect game for you. No, I agree. Shadow Demon, very, very strong concept. Actually, wow, Dan copping a gobs of damage early on. He's gonna have to just use that bottle even to just survive in any way. So good start for Jay in the middle here, certainly. I do think, however, that Baby, even if he isn't gonna find his farm, is probably gonna be okay surviving in this lane.
Yeah, I completely agree. Even with the Sentry Ward down, for Weaver, at least in this lane, the escape is not for the invis. It really isn't. It's because it prevents any and all slows from doing anything at all to Baby.
Right.
So
his only fear is that he somehow gets caught out with, like, Nightmare Illuminate one too many times. Oh, I totally missed First Blood. I'm sorry, folks. It's a little early still. Hopefully that'll be the only kill miss of the day. But they do finally find the kill onto Joven. Shen cops a lot of damage trying to get that kill, but still they managed to get it, and that's the key really. It's First Blood gold for them. Who actually got the kill credit? We did see Shenji getting the kill credit, and like I said, this isn't actually the worst thing in the world. Even if your carry doesn't get it, if it goes to the support that sort of really needs a little bit of gold and substantial amounts of levels, you're okay with that. And so this is a tough lane for Joven, I feel like. I almost feel like Queen of Pain will be doing better here, but I'm not sure.
I'm inclined to agree just because Blink is, I think, a stronger escape than the Illusionary Orb until...
Oh no, Dan looks like... Oh wow, this could go either way. He does actually live. He's going to get picked off by the Shadow Strike. But that's a huge deal. In mid, if you actually get the kill before you die, an enormous advantage is conferred to you because you get all of the XP from getting the kill, and they don't get any XP from the retaliation on you.
Yeah, I'm actually really... I think Shang really needs the gold. The problem with Sand King, in my mind, is the same kind of problems that plague... that's a good Sandstorm, but the same kind of problems that plague... Earthshaker as a hero. He's actually very dependent on picking up a fast Blink Dagger to really make his presence known for those epicenters. It's actually a big problem because Burrow Strike doesn't have enough range to reliably initiate with.
Right.
So... Generally, the combo is, Epicenter out of sight, Blink in, Burrow Strike, Sandstorm, and Laugh. But
we actually see Shenji rotating bottom, which is interesting because I don't know that they can actually get a kill this way. Maybe on ZBD, but I don't know. He still has level 1 Burrow Strike, and he's not even close to level 2 Burrow Strike. So this might end up just being wasted rotation. And again, I really worry about this sinking actually being able to find his XP. If he had level 2 Burrow, I think they could make something of this lane, but...
Yeah, the problem is even with level 2 Burrow, it's not exactly the most vision, but we're seeing maybe a dual pull here. Nah, he can't pull through because he doesn't have something to cut through the trees.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have any more tangos? Oh, okay, I guess he used them all. He does have tier 1 boots, which is really useful for him. DD rune for Bane, meanwhile. Jay's still really harassing Dan very hard in this lane here, and Dan, once again, has to just play really defensively. You can see that Magnus... 10 last hits to the 19 of Queen of Pain. Some very effective harassment being thrown out.
Yeah, I think it's really underestimated how much...
up on Joven in the top. They might try to dive under tower for him again. No, they decide not to. Just gonna use the Soul Catcher to put a little bit of fear in him.
I think it's really underestimated how much damage the Shadow Strike does. It is a 200 damage ability at level 1 with a decent slow attached. And a really long duration. It's one of the best dots in the game. To be absolutely honest, and max level gets something absurd as well. I think it's like 125. Yeah, it does 425 damage to a single target. But it's, even after magic resist, you're hitting quite hard with just Shadow Strike. It's a pretty impressive ability as a whole, and it makes it really hard for Dan to do well in this lane. Except he seems like he's just doing the bottle crowing shockwave span. That's not very fun for Jay either.
Sure, but Jay is using this to zone him out, especially when he knows that the bottle isn't there. He can just... There's a limit to how... Oh, my bad. They actually dive on Joven again, so Snow copping quite a bit of damage there. He is actually out of regen. I don't know if Xiaobai's holding anything. Okay, he does have the healing salve, so he's in pretty good shape now, actually. So another kill picked up top, and this top lane is going quite badly for Mineski. You see, they actually rotated over support as well. ZBD came top, while for Invasion, Shenji came bottom. Neither of these rotations, however, has really changed anything in these lanes. And so I actually favor the... In a vacuum, I kind of favor the rotation of the Sand King, just because it opens up a little more XP possibilities down here, especially once he pulls this jungle a little bit more. And they haven't won mid by enough to really convincingly keep Dan down. He is level 6, which is all he really wants. He is Invis, too. He's got holding the Invis rune. If they rotate people over, they might be able to get a kill here. Ping comes out. I think they know. Yeah, I think they saw him pick up the invisibility rune, so...
Yeah, they spotted with... Wow. Okay, draw on the map. There we go. That ward that they didn't spotting them out. What I really like about this rotation from Shang, though, is that if he catches Yanni off guard, Yanni's dead.
Right.
Like, there's no way he's making it out with this health pool at this level against Weaver. Weaver actually has some very impressive right-click damage. And with a fast ring of health, I won't be surprised to see a fast Linken's on the Weaver
almost
this game.
Certainly, yeah. This is going to be a Linken's Rush, basically. Anti-Mage, meanwhile, with his fast ring of health, we do not expect a Linken's Rush. We expect a Battle Fury Rush, as per usual.
No, we're going old school, Vanguard time.
I'm going to go ahead and doubt that, actually. Big Illuminate getting thrown out. Dan actually dodges it. Nice work there. He could have very easily died. He actually may still die just because the Queen of Pain Sonic Wave goes through. He's holding RP. Nice RP! He's going to turn it right around on Jay again.
Nah, Jay got the kill first.
He did get the kill first, but still, he actually buys back. He wants to rotate bottom where he wants to rotate top where Xiaobai and Snow are putting a lot of pressure on ZBD, but this is going to get turned around. Xiaobai cops an illusory RP will go down. He actually gets a double kill, like spread out over time. Waning Rift gets thrown out on Snow. This is a disaster for Invasion. Suddenly they have 3 players down, and their carry dies as well, while on bottom, Shenji and Baby actually finally find their timing and pick off Yanni. So people dying on both sides of the map, and all heroes that they really can't afford to have come out. Shenji, he's in a lot of trouble here. Illuminate will go through. Baby's going to have to truck the heck out of here as well. He cops quite a bit of damage on the retreat. So 5-5, and who do you think was favored by that exchange?
Mineski definitely favored on that whole 3-front let's kill everything little thing, especially after this tower deny. That's a big win. The only problem is I personally think that a early death to Yanni is more detrimental to Mineski than an early death to Snow. Just because the faster Snow gets his Battle Fury, the faster you can just start farming the jungle. And once that happens, it's really going to be hard for Yanni to keep up. Just because usually Lifestealers don't build too many farm enhancers outside of a rushed Midas.
Which he hasn't gone for. He's gone the Power Treads.
And maybe a Maelstrom, and I don't really see him going for that early this game. I think he has a Bracer, I'm thinking Drum, so maybe like stock car Lifestealer instead of race car Lifestealer.
Yeah, something like Drums and then Armlet, and then I don't know what from Armlet, we'll have to see. I mean, if they want to end it early, maybe Desolator is the right way to go.
Desolator does enable Mineski to push much better, because that armor reduction is absolutely absurd. Also, this is the weirdest anti-mage build I've seen from Snow. 1, 2, 3.
Well, the heavy emphasis on Spell Shield I actually totally dig, because there's so much magic damage early from this other team. Even the supports deal a lot of magic damage. Courier spotted out from Dan and Shen, and they're going to go in again on this puck. This puck is going to have just an Ursa throw. Interestingly, they actually choose to completely ignore the Courier in favor of just bringing Joven down very quickly, and where is...
Joven got away fine.
Yeah, sorry, in favor of bringing down Jay very quickly. Joven somehow escapes. I feel like they could have gotten at least one of them plus the Courier. I don't know about what I think about the fact that they just let the Courier go, but still, I think Joven survives.
I think the problem is the Courier is 10 armor, and that basically means that Snow's going to need like 5 hits to get that kill. And that's not really 5 hits. It wouldn't have been him anyway.
It would have been Dan on Magnus, who does a little more damage.
Yeah, I don't think they really have enough damage to warrant going after the Courier over picking off a lower armored target like Queen of Pain.
Okay, fair enough.
Especially one that moves as fast as the Courier.
Sure. Actually, Jan having to infest just to stay alive in this lane. He's up to the point where Baby can bully him quite a bit. Just uses time-lapse to be even more annoying, and just dealing a lot of damage actually to Yanni in this lane. It's slowing down his farm a little bit. The Lifestealer is the most farm person on the map at 53 last hits. But Weaver is catching up quickly. He had a 1 vs 3 lane early, and he's actually up to where Snow is on the anti-mage. Baby has 44 last hits. Actually, Baby has to be very careful here because he does not have time lapse. He will not be able to get all that damage back up. Oh no, they don't have any idea. Yes, the Sonic Wave will bring him down, and that's a big kill for Mineski. Important to keep these two core heroes both a little bit oppressed, and excellent work there, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, they really need to get these kills onto Weaver, just because Weaver's going to be a bigger problem for Mineski than the anti-Weave, to be absolutely honest. Until the mana pools start getting absolutely ridiculous on Mineski, frankly, I don't think anti-mage is going to be nearly as effective here.
Yep, I think you're right. I definitely think Weaver is going to be a serious problem for them, and so it makes perfect sense for them to hunt Baby the way they did. That was very, very good. Once you know that the time lapse is actually gone, that's really when you strike, and that's exactly what Jay did there. Coming in, using the Sonic Wave even after Baby popped Shukachi, and just making sure that you pick him off. And now we see Baby and Snow actually farming the same lane. This is not the most efficient thing in the world for Invasion here, definitely, because they do want to hit that Battle Fury well. Doing okay so far. In 11.5 minutes, he's going to have everything but the broadsword. So, that's okay. It'll take him about 3-4 more minutes. Oh, actually, Baby in trouble again. How did he get so completely caught out here? Centaur Stun may have done him a huge favor there. Oh my goodness, Dream Coil misses. He could turn this around, maybe. No, he's still copying a lot of damage. He considered turning it around on Joven there, but unfortunately, he can't do that. But what he can do is just... I'm shocked at how fortuitous that Centaur Stun was for him. Usually you see it's the Satyr Tormentors who take an interest in the lives of mortals. But in this case, it was actually the Centaur Conqueror who did an AoE stun. Actually, tons of damage getting thrown out, but Jay just pure harassment. Doesn't want to get counter-initiated upon. But I was going to say, that stun prevented the AoE silence from Joven until after Baby was able to pop his strategy.
Yeah, incredibly close. Had Joven been, like, had a slightly better animation than Weaver, Weaver would have been dead, but he's dead now anyways.
And he does end up turning it around. Sorry, no, he does end up getting picked off because they replace the sentry. They place one in the lane, one back here, and that gives them a ton of true sight in this sort of general Weaver area. I don't know, I feel like this transition between Snow to the bottom and Baby to the top ended up costing Baby a lot. After dying, he's just like, oh, I want to get out of here, but the place that he went to was even less safe.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Yanni is actually just farming the Invasion's jungle, which is pretty interesting. It's very aggressive, and the weirdest part is that, oh, now Xiaobai knows, but like how long it took Invasion to really notice this.
Right. Unfortunately, Xiaobai is he's still level 5. Once they have Purge, they have a pretty good toolkit against Lifestealer, against Yanni, but for now they really, really don't. And Jay's gonna hunt again. He wants to make this Queen of Pain pick count. He's 5-3-0. Definitely wants to improve that. He's got a Sonic Wave cooldown up. It's only level 1 Sonic Wave, but more than enough to kill a level 5 Shadow Demon if the mood does strike him. Okay, they know, so they're gonna scrunch up onto Tier 1. But unfortunately, Jay doesn't actually find the kill. Invasion are gonna adopt a defensive posture at the Tier 1 bottom, and they're a little bit better shape. Actually, Dan, while I was watching the action at bottom, I totally missed the action at top. So Dan jumps in, actually, not able to pop off RP. And so they still can't really find the proper laning configuration in Invasion. It seemed like they were okay at the beginning, but then they just sort of started experimenting and moving people around. And it's gotten kind of worse and worse since then.
Yeah, one of the big... I guess what Invasion are looking at, they're looking at setting up an epicenter with the RP. That's a hell of a gamble making before anyone has a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, definitely. We do have level 6 on Shen, so... He does have his epicenter. That might come in useful if they start having a big team fight. But Mineski seem happy so far to not engage in large team fights, just to sort of have these one-off engagements where they pick a few people off or pick one person off, and just feel okay with that. Maybe copping a little bit of unnecessary Stream of Pain damage there, but he's still okay. He's still leveling up in this middle lane. He actually is level 9. If we look up towards hero levels, Jay leading the pack. He's level 10 up on his Queen of Pain. But then we have a clinch of about 5-ish heroes that are all at level 9. The only real level difference is that the Mineski supports are actually about 1 level each ahead of the Invasion supports. And considering the Invasion supports are actually a little more level dependent, this is not that great news for them. Trouble for Yanni, top actually is going to be fine. He's just going to rage out. 5-second rage, more than enough time to get away from Sand King Shadow Demon. It's not really an issue. No Demonic Purge actually popped off there either.
Yeah, I think they could have probably gotten that kill with the Purge, but Then again, Yanni also has his armlet already, so...
They could if nobody rotated, and he has an armlet,
Radiant's
yeah.
middle tower
The problem is the
under attack.
rotation would be a little bit difficult because this tier 1 tower is down.
Sure.
So.
Sure. That is the one tower that's been taken off the map, because it actually was denied by Mineski.
It's actually been a pretty quiet game for Southeast Asian Dota.
Oh, Southeast Asian Dota slowed way down, in my opinion. I think that's another, like, stereotype that's not quite as true as maybe people thought it was. Sometimes when it's, like, two Pinoy teams going at it, two teams from the Philippines, like, it'll be pretty balls to the wall, but a lot of times, actually, this is one of the areas that I've been really seeing a lot of, like, hard carries, too. Like, a lot of teams that just run really hard carries now, like Anti-Mage, for instance. I think they're really making a resurgence, and actually particularly in the Southeast Asian scene, more so even than in the Chinese scene. It's really funny to me. This is just a different playstyles type thing, I think, but if these were European teams, I feel like they'd go for the courier every single time, but instead they just don't. And Magnus getting completely neutered. It's just this waning rift. Oh, they do actually stun in here. The Sandstorm comes out. Baby going to chase, but he doesn't have much HP to work with, unfortunately. Gonna hit on ZBD a little bit. Will ZBD try to do anything? I mean, no, they use the Fiend's Grip on Magnus in addition to the Waning Rift, so... gets a good Brain Sap off, keeps him alive for a little bit, and they're trying to turn this around. Joven jumps in, another good Waning Rift. Shen-Ji will take a fall. Xiaobai almost certainly to fall as well. And 6-10 now, I mean... It starts with the fact that they're completely neutering Dan and continues with... Oh, Illuminate will hit him. Xiaobai, unfortunately, cannot find the angle to actually juke out that Illuminate. He actually can't, because going down these stairs, you're kind of locked into a certain angle, and this game's starting to look a little sloppy for Invasion. I mean, they have all these heroes that are so vulnerable to silences, and the Waning Rifts keep being on point, and the magic damage just keeps being too much.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that was a huge overextension on Invasion. To be absolutely honest, like there was good support, but the second they got like 3 people super low, namely Fat Dog, ZBD, and Joven, they went all in and they went bust, basically.
Baby just using his time lapse to flee out of here. They're trying to put a little bit of pressure on this tier 1 mid. Of course, they did just lose tier 1 top. Finally, Mineski has had sort of a slow, patient siege of that, just trying to draw people out from Invasion, and eventually being successful. I mean, Invasion eventually were drawn out successfully, and in that time, they managed to pick it up. Puck, Joven will actually be the first blink. Sorry, is it Joven on this? Yeah, Joven will actually be the first blink dagger on the map. Dan is saving for it in a frenzy as well. He has 1627, but he can't afford any more deaths. This Magnus has actually died 4 times, 3 times on top, and once in the middle. Actually, twice in the middle and twice on top, my bad.
One of the important things to keep in mind, though, is as of now, there has been no fight that Snow has really participated in outside of that small skirmish on top. Actually, 2 small skirmishes on top. He does have that Battle Fury already up, so it's going to be very hard for Lifesteal to also keep up with his farm. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him rush straight for... Oh, almost got denied on team.
It's tough. I mean, Bane is a much slower. Bane is really bad at auto-attacking. Xiaobai in trouble now. Joven right on top of him. Jay's going to throw out the Sonic Wave. It actually clips Baby as well. He uses his time-lapse just to get the heck out of here. And another, essentially, costless kill for Mineski, improving themselves to 6-12, and this kill advantage is actually starting to get fairly concerning. I mean, they're gquite a bit ahead. Magnus gets the big off in the mid, but Dan's gonna die again, almost certainly. They can use Fiend's Grip if they want to. Oh, he's actually invis. There's the Sentry Ward. Will they throw out the Fiend's Grip? They will! And wow! Mineski are locking down this Magnus so well, not worrying about Fiend's Gripping anybody else generally, because they know that early on, the Magnus is the main thing you have to worry about, and so they're just Fiends Gripping out no matter what he does. An excellent Sentry Warding as well, both against Baby and against Dan there, because they knew he was there as soon as they figured it out. They were just like, oh, pop down a Sentry.
That's an interesting first item pickup outside of Battle Fury on Anti-Mage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gives the Weaver damage.
Know how I don't know how I feel about that. I think the problem is that Anti-Mage doesn't really have the most glorious agility gain in the world. 2.8 is good, but it's not like so amazing that, you know, it warrants...
It's not lighting the world on fire now.
Yeah, that damage aura isn't really worth much. Lifesteal is not that important this early on. I would have rather him spent the gold on a Yasha, something way more cost effective, especially for an agility hero like Anti-Mage. The attack speed, because of his BAT, is absolutely absurd. So...
I mean, maybe it's just a sort of, he thinks that in a 5-man engagement this early on, if he decides to join the 5-mans, which it looks like he's going to, that the AoE benefit of the Vlads, I mean, the armor is no joke against Lifestealer.
This is true, but someone already picked up a Ring of Bass, and these auras don't stack.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah.
Although, one is better than the other.
Yeah.
Also, drums picked up on Baby.
Yeah. The other thing is, actually Orchid, full Orchid was built up on Jay, who has had a pretty great game, 7-3, he doesn't actually have any assists, interestingly enough, but he has picked up 7 kills. He's got 111 creep kills, so he's in good shape there. And the Orchid's a big deal. This is such a strong Magnus lockdown lineup now. The fact that they have a silence on the Queen of Pain, an AoE silence on the Puck, and Dream Coil, and even a Fiend's Grip if they want to pop it off. Oh no, Baby in trouble here. He actually gets Orchided, but ooh, the Sentry Ward is a little bit late from the rest of the team. Jay actually giving up the giving the game up a little bit early, and Baby manages to get away from that. But they're just putting a ton of pressure right on this Invasion jungle now.
Yeah, that was definitely a late Orchid, and the nice thing about the Orchid is that Orchids are like Nightmare, Weaver, Nightmare. It's like Anti-Mages and Weaver's Nightmares, basically, because they both use their spells to escape because they're not Luna with her glorious 330 base movement speed. But that said, once a Manta is picked up on Snow, the Orchid silence doesn't really mean much. So
yeah, certainly. But again, he didn't build that Yasha first. He's going to have it pretty soon if he does go for that Manta straight up. So he's going to be moving towards it, but they don't have to worry about it for at least a little while. It'll still be effective on Weaver for a while. He will get Lincolns eventually, but it's not coming extremely quickly. He's still just sitting on the casual Ring of Health, drums and treads. So Baby's not going to have that Lincolns for a while if that is indeed what he's going for. And so you can always just silence him, or like I said, you can silence Dan and just make sure that he continues to not really have that much of an impact in this game.
Oh, I think Invasion are going to be really frustrating a little bit.
Well, Yanni, it does look like they're going for the Roshan. This is going to go up on this Lifestealer. Probably going to sell off this, either this Magic Stick or...
Oh,
probably
whoa.
Magic Stick.
Full Desolator.
Yep,
I completely missed that.
Oh, yeah, he built it out about a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, that's...
Here come the bugs. Doing good damage to him. Actually, Yanni gets caught out at a really, really bad time. Excellent RP from Dan there. He's finally going to make his contribution. Fiend's Grip out on Xiaobai gets interrupted by the Burrow Strike, and there we go. 3 players down for Mineski right quick. Joven copping a ton of damage. They're just chasing him out. Mana Void gets thrown out. It's not quite enough damage, but the melee follow-up. And Snow, he's got his Yasha. That takes him 1285 closer to his Manta. I said he wouldn't have it for a while, but he's going to have it very, very quickly. And they steal the Roshan. Mineski taking an unnecessary chance there. They thought that because they had superior map control, superior vision, and superior team fight that they just take it. But Dan finally makes himself felt, finally lands the RP. He's got his blink. He's got 2,000 gold now on top of it. And that was a huge turnaround for Invasion.
I would like to note that is some excellent map awareness coming out of Invasion. They knew that there wasn't much on the map. All they saw were a couple of supports in the river here. They just kind of guessed that because of the support's position that they were in the Roshan, and Dan blinked in and gets a 3-man Roshan. RP. And sadly, Jay does barely get away because the skewer was like a second late, so Jay managed to blink. But still, excellent play coming out of Dan. Absolutely. And then there was follow-up damage behind Snow and Baby, so there was lots going on there.
The main thing is actually like they don't have that much. They have Desolator, but they didn't have quite enough damage to just completely take down Roshan super quick. So Yanni actually got quite low, and he died within the RP just to like incidental damage. Like the RP almost killed him by itself, and with no Lifestealer and like half the supports going down immediately, they had so many bad options. ZBD was a little bit out of position. The best Fiend's Grip target he could find was actually Xiaobai on the Shadow Demon, which is a pretty mediocre Fiend's Grip target on this team. And unfortunately, Mineski got totally out of sorts in that fight.
If I had to say anything, that is the worst person to Fiend's Grip on Invasion's team, and the worst part is that besides Weaver, everyone can interrupt Bane out of his Fiend's Grip, totally and true. The BKB won't do much either because you can still Mana Void a BKB target.
Yeah, Mana Void and RP would still go through Fiend's Grip.
Also, this double cleave is absurd.
Absolutely, and Power and Battle Fury gives them just honestly a ton of damage. It's 25 minutes in, and Snow deals 250 attack damage. It's frankly pretty remarkable. That might actually be why the Vlad's early, is because he knew that Empower would hit up big stacks, and so the percentage would actually, I don't know, stacking some percentages.
You need a lot more agility before
Yeah,
that really becomes reasonably effective.
But so far, I feel like the armor and the percentage damage boost to the team hasn't been that bad of an idea. 3 a.m. It is that time. He hits his Manta style early as a result of the big Roshan wins and the free tower and the free team fight. And there's tier 2, and right now, Mineski completely unable to actually defend these towers. RP gets thrown out again on 3. He skewers Epicenter. Epicenter is down. That takes down everybody except for Yanni. He is, of course, magic immune. Everybody's still up for invasion. They're taking Yanni down. They trade off for the Aegis, but 4 down already and a buyback from Queen of Pain. Jay's might try to come in here, but what can he actually do with this buyback? Not too much.
No, actually, that was, like, on the list for rage buybacks. Either that or, I guess Mineski was hoping that by buying back on Jade, that would kind of stifle Invasion's will to continue a siege.
The problem is Invasion are still so healthy.
Yeah, that's the other problem, but big pickup on Shin, because that was the Blink Dagger really showing off why Sand King needs a Blink Dagger.
Yep, absolutely. He's got nothing except that Blink Dagger. Of course, he picks up Arcane Boots now. But, wow, what a combo. They land the RP, long distance, skewer back, right into the epicenter. Excellent coordination, and basically the entire team except Lifestealer just completely and utterly melts. They don't even need the Mana Void. He's holding on to it. Anti-Mage up to 2,400 golded. What a crucial, crucial fight to win for Invasion. The Roshan was one thing, but you could still argue that they were behind. But now nobody can make the argument that Invasion are behind. They are firmly in control of the game. Lincoln's about 700 away for Baby, and Snow is no slouch himself with 3,000 gold on top of Manta Style.
Looks like the viewers want the net graph.
The net worth, yeah, that's fine. I can switch over to that.
Dire's top
Alright,
tower
yeah,
is
no
under
one
attack.
wants the net graph.
Well, while we're talking about the viewers, I do apologize for the camera control in this game. It's been horrendous. This is like the first day when waking up at 5 a.m. hasn't really worked out for me. I'm feeling pretty tired. The camera control will be better for the next game, folks.
We do see a Nake's Bomb set up on the Puck, who also has a Blink Dagger that he got first. That's right.
Alright. Puck,
Oh,
Joven, he's had the Blink Dagger forever. There we go. Lifestealer pops out. They get Dan. This is an absolutely critical kill. He doesn't get the RP off. And this is a fight that might not go nearly as well for Invasion. They look like they do want to fight, though. Jay actually picks off Shenji as well. And good targeting by Mineski here. Excellent. And actually, Invasion not feeling good about it at all. They have to peel up, but here comes Jay. He comes right back in, but unfortunately he pops an enormous amount of damage. Actually, he's not dead. The last hit from the Geminated Bugs will actually pick him off, and he loses the gem. Xiaobai is going to pick it up, and this will let them deward these sentries extremely effectively.
That was awful from Jay, overextending an absurd amount in that entire engagement.
They could have just they just take the win, right? Like,
yeah, they should have just left while they were ahead with the gem. That and I bring this up time and time again when we see Queen of Pain. The blink is on 6-second cooldown. That means really in a team fight you're either using it to get in or get out. For a hero as squishy as Queen of Pain.
Sure.
So, like for Anti-Mage, he can get a little bit by because he has absurd armor and he has that spell shield. So it doesn't matter that his blink is only 1 second shorter cooldown.
Right.
Queen of Pain doesn't have that. So when she blinked in to try to go onto Xiaobai, and Anti-Mage and Weaver happened to be there, Baby and Snow, she was done. There was no way she was going to get out in time.
They tried. They almost got the waning rift on Baby, but honestly, I don't know how good it would have been, because even if they got a lot of damage onto him, Shenji was absolutely like right there to respond with Burrow Strike. So, interesting. Mineski do have the better teamfight items. They have a mechanism, whereas Invasion does not, and don't even appear to care about building one. They just like their drums urn for healing and teamfight. And we have actually started a pipe on ZBD. So it's going to be a while before that pipe actually happens, but it could be useful.
How much does pipe block again? That's what I want to
600? 500, sorry. It's 500.
500?
Yeah.
400.
400. Oh,
400.
Not bad.
So how much damage does RP do? 300. It actually might not do as much as it will seem, just because of the nature of Epicenter. Because it is a pulsing attack.
Sure.
Right? and assuming Dan does get an RP off. And the RP damage it's okay, but you know the stun is much more significant.
You're saying that if RP Epicenter lands, they're already doing so much damage that even like X% less isn't enough to keep them alive.
It's not even a percent. It's just 400 less. It's not.
Well, yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, like, whatever it is, minus 400 is still more than the HP of most of Mineski.
Yeah, if we look at it, we're seeing 880 from the Epicenter. We're seeing an additional 225 out of reverse blurry, so that's over 1,000 damage. On top of that, we might see 1 or 2 stacks of shadow poison on them.
Sure.
So that brings it up to another 130. So we're looking at 1,200 AOE damage, and that's before Snow starts attacking with probably the empowered cleaving.
Okay, but you can't do anything about the empower cleave, so that's fine.
That's really, you build a mech and you hope for the best. But
I actually feel like those numbers are deal-withable, because that's before magic resist, and then with the pipe, they could actually maybe live through it, whereas they would be guaranteed not to live through it otherwise. But their main game plan is not that, and I mean, indeed, the Bane won't build that pipe for ages, so that's not really the issue. What's at issue here? What's at issue here is, will they be able to do what they did in the last fight, and just lock down Shen, GG, and Dan at long range and pick them off before the fight even has a chance to begin? If they can do that, that's a fight that they've won. If they can't do that, it's a fight that they're guaranteed to lose. And right now, just pure anti-mage illusion siege on these towers, starting to do respectable damage to it.
well, not quite, just because backdoor protection has been kicking in, but
Sure. Still.
we are seeing the real advantage of how how it feels like to push into a coddle, and the answer is not very well.
No, I mean, the tower's at 899, actually. Considering they only spent about a minute on this, and it was a minute in which all of Mineski were holed up in their base, this isn't a bad situation to be in at all.
Yeah, the only problem is, well, for Mineski, is that they can turtle, and they'll probably keep trying to turtle. At what point does the turtling stop working? And that's their real problem at this moment.
Right.
But Snow is sitting on a lot of gold, and I'm feeling
a full BKB as well. I meant to mention that, but I don't think I've talked about it on the stream at all. He has a BKB, so all that huge amount of magic damage from Mineski isn't going to do very much to Snow. This is a 10 charge BKB. He's got 3k gold on top of it. Could we see Butterfly next?
I'm feeling Butterfly or Heart. That's coming up. Might actually be Butterfly because he does have
it's better
the
against
BKB.
Lifestealer than Heart is.
Yeah, exactly. Heart makes Lifestealer hurt more, and BKB makes all of the magic damage that you would normally build a Heart for. It's like kind of redundant, really.
No, I think I would prefer to see a Butterfly over a Heart. If he wants to play conservatively, he may still go for that Heart, but I don't know. I would much prefer to see the Butterfly. A Smoke Ink actually spotted out by the Sentry Wards, but the Sentry Wards are dewarded as well. I mean, they have this gem at this point. They're going to go for Roshan. So I think Mineski are going to have a good idea if they've been timing Rosh that he's up, and that they're probably going for it. They are going to use Xiaobai and Shen as sort of outlook people, so if they get de-smoked, it's like they're the canary in the coal mine, as it were. Snow is just soloing down this Roshan. Mineski may make an attempt to steal this, I feel like. Maybe not. It's actually, they're running out of time to do so. If they want to steal it, the time is now. Joven is aiming for it. He's going to throw an Illusory Orb in. He might. Will he get the steal? He gets the steal! Nice! He actually waiting Rifts. Dream Coil to pop off. He will have Blink when he comes up. The question is, will he be able to do it? No! Excellent, excellent Burrow Strike timing. Fantastic Burrow Strike timing. And Keeper of the Light, he will go down as well. Fat Dog just getting totally picked off on the high ground. So Joven manages to steal the Aegis, but then has nothing to show for it. He's actually forced to buy back. I'm not even sure this was worth it. They pick up a tower with Jay in the back, but they really wanted to get that puck out of there somehow. And unfortunately, Shenjiju has been excellent on this Sand King. Really excellent play. Just completely making sure that that puck stays in there and dies.
Absolutely, and I would also like to note that in that whole ridiculousness, they actually sold the Roshan kill as well.
Did you get the Roshan kill? Oh yeah,
you
you
got
did
the
with the
Roshan
Illusory Orb, nice.
Oh.
There's the RP just on Yanni, so not the biggest reverse RP of their lives, but he has his BKB popped off. Here comes the Epicenter, and this will take out CBD, no problem. Manaboy doesn't end up doing too much. Yanni pops out of the Infest, and they're actually still up, and Snow's BKB is running down. There we go. The duration is over. He's got the Eagle Song for his Butterfly. Actually, killing that will actually give him his Butterfly. Baby in a lot of trouble here. He gets Sonic Wave. He's somehow still alive. He actually makes it out. Snow gets the kill, turning around on Joven, who no longer has buyback. Illuminate coming through. It only hits on Snow. Barely dents his HP because he does have that high magic resistance. And they're going for it. There we are. 5 a.m. Actually, yep, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. illusions. All of them cleave. All of them. Oh my god, this is so much damage. These Raxes are getting picked off. Dan attempts to actually skewer, but Yanni, he's trying to turn around a Baby. Lincoln's pops off, but they can't defend these Raxes. There's just too much damage being thrown out onto them. We get another disruption. More AM illusions join the fray. Yanni gets picked off incredibly quickly. Jay cannot survive against this torrent of anti-mage damage. Magnus, Dan just trying to get Jay picked off. He actually may have gone too far here. Does he have skewer? He tries to TP out. He can't. Magnus will take a fall. But Invasion are more than willing to end the siege with four barracks for them.
Yeah, with those 2 sets of racks down, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for Mineski to kind of pull back from this. The problem is that Lifestealer, not nearly fat enough. He's actually 4th most farm behind Jay, and he is worth a little bit less than half of Snow at this point.
Snow is... He's absolutely enormous. The thing about AM, the time when he actually transitions, I feel like there's a point at which he just farms creeps, and then once AM is strong enough, if he starts farming your heroes, that actually accelerates his GPM even more. Because the effect is that anti-mage becomes very hard to kill, and if he's getting like a double kill in every fight and making it out, that's actually serious extra golden XP out on top of the fact that he's already getting that. Like you can see, he is 5 levels ahead of anybody else. He is 300 gold per minute ahead of everybody else, and I don't even want to talk about the net worth because it's frankly just depressing to look at. Scythe the Vice finally picked up for Jay. He's moving towards his BKB, but it's going to be a while, and he needs to kind of hold buyback, I feel like, because the next fight might be their last. I mean, Butterfly done, 3.5k gold on Anti-Mage. He actually probably could do the die Boots of Travel buyback trick if he wanted to.
He could. I kind of want him to sell the Vlads and buy a Skull Basher, but...
No way, man. No way, man. Vlad's doing work. Giving that Weaver the percentage damage.
Vlad's doing some work. Also,
the lifesteal, honestly, has been pretty serious, too. Like, he's been able to keep these sieges up partially because he's doing incredible lifesteal damage. I mean, yeah, it's on Empower, too.
Yeah,
well, actually, I don't think the cleave hits give you lifesteal. So.
He has a pretty ridiculous amount of HP and mana regen at this point.
Here we go. 3 anti-mages. 5 anti-mages. Tier 3 tower. They actually blind all the anti-mages, and he gets Orchided, so he has to peel off for now. He is enfeebled, but the problem is, even with enfeebled, here comes Fiend's Grip. They're going to try their best. Yanni is popping up. Here comes Stun. They immediately interrupt the Fiend's Grip. Snow actually is taking a lot of damage, but he's BKB'd, and their only damage is from Yanni, and Yanni is dead. Jay gets skewered. He blinks back. They're trying to do what they can. Shen GG is picked off. Dan actually has to get the heck out of here. He's mana leaked. He's Orchided. He actually might go down. Baby's in there trying to do... Oh, the Mana Void picks off another. Joven is down. I think his his buyback... No buyback. The only people with buyback are Baby and Snow. I think they can probably finish this siege. Snow is ready. Jay's gonna do his best. He actually sheeps Snow. This might... No, not quite enough. The defensive disruption. There goes the tower. Dan's still in here. Baby's still in. They're all low, and they're all just trying to keep Snow up. The illusions, they're sieging. Baby trying his best. He actually time lapses to avoid Jay just getting him down, and unfortunately they still have the numbers advantage. They might not be healthy, but they have the numbers, and Mineski actually GG out. They will be the first team eliminated from the playoffs. Snow getting these mega creeps, and unfortunately Mineski, they started ahead, they were doing okay, and then just a few team fight errors set them behind, and Anti-Mage, once he sets you behind, he can bury you, and that's exactly what we saw.
I feel like the biggest turning points for this match was really that big Roshan fight. Yeah, that Roshan fight kind of turned it really on Mineski's head, especially for Yanni, who got completely wrecked in that fight, managed to get taken out, and then Snow following up with like a triple kill.
Absolutely. Snow, that was absolutely where it turned. And I think it was just an overconfident rush for Mineski because they thought they had such good map control, and they did have good map control, and they thought they had such good vision that Invasion wouldn't even spot it out. But like you said at the time, Invasion had excellent instincts. They knew it was happening, and Dan got what was basically his first RP of the game. Like, maybe he cast it before, but it wasn't nearly as important. He did cast it before, I saw it. But that was the first RP that mattered. And boy howdy did it matter. They took down 3, Snow got farmed, he got Roche, he got the Aegis, they got a tower, and all of a sudden the game was flipped on its head, really. like right in that instant. And then after that, Mineski didn't win a single fight. Okay, they kind of won a skirmish, but that was about it.
That goal per minute on Snow.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's kind of what happens when he gets... Like, the Battle Fury wasn't really that early. We have seen faster Battle Furies.
It was like 16 minutes.
We've also seen absurdly fast Midases. It's just that Anti-Mage ended up rolling so quickly afterwards.
I actually feel that other than Joven's lane, the puck had trouble early. They won both the other lanes, in my opinion. Yanni was getting amazing farm early.
I'm inclined to agree. It's just the problem was Joven's lane happened to be up against the tri-lane that Invasion were running.
Right.
But this does eliminate Mineski from the Netolic Pro League.
It does. They're the first team eliminated, and Invasion will move on to the losers bracket round 2. So Mineski, they played a good game. They placed second in their group. Good for them. But unfortunately, they do get brought down by. They were close. They really went for the throat early, and they were doing well. But they let Invasion get back into it, and they just made a couple questionable decisions that led to and Invasion. To their credit, took total advantage of that. Great Sand King play too. That might be the first Sand King win in our tournament, but what a win! So that epicenter is the epicenter at the tier 2 bottom fight was just crazy. It's exactly what you want from an epicenter. All right, let's move on to our next game, folks. Just like 5 minutes, we will be moving on really quick because we're running a little bit late. As per usual, yes. Netolic Raid Call Pro League. Our sponsor is Raid Call. You can check out www.raidcall.com. 2013 is the channel where we're doing giveaways and prizes all throughout the tournament. This is the official English stream for the tournament, Netolic TV. On Twitch, of course. If you're watching in the Dota TV tournament ticket, we appreciate that. If you're watching on stream, we appreciate that just as much. Thanks, folks. Going up into the second game super soon.